Love Unf by Gary John Bishop. Gary John Bishop did it, guys. He put out another book. This one, despite his typical do the work, stop judging yourself, get it done, is about relationships, which you simply wouldn't expect from him given everything else he's put out. So it's a little exciting and perhaps refreshing for this hard-nosed and in-your-face yet well-intentioned and compassionate thinker to put together a book on relationships. What I'm wondering is, and maybe you guys, what advice does he have on relationships that you wouldn't find in other books? What can you reasonably expect from this book? Is it any good? We don't review a lot of relationship books on this channel because, quite frankly, it's not a very popular niche in the self-development genre like financing, marketing, and psychology are. So let's go over this, because when I told my girlfriend I was reviewing this book, she was like, what the f-? Just so you guys know, there are affiliate links in the description, and if you guys buy anything through those links, then I get commission, which helps me sustain the growth of this channel. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Sam, and I want to make self-growth normal, because people shouldn't have to look this information up. It should just be mainstream knowledge. If you agree, then please make sure to smash that like button. Chapter 1 is called "And Here's What You Could Have Won." Everyone wants this amazing relationship, but we've been sold that ideal without the hard truth of what goes into it. In this book, he talks about relationships in the form of a marriage, but you do not need to be married to apply it, and what you learn from it to reinvent your story. The reality of it is how you get along will affect you every day from the moment you wake up to the moment you fall back asleep. Then you have the relationship with your boss, the relationship with your coworkers, and family, and he extends this to like universal lengths. He explains that you even have relationships with people you don't know and inanimate objects, your car, your phone, your computer, your bed, your toothbrush. This is a very unorthodox view of things, and it reminded me a little of Grant Cardone for some reason. But this chapter was spectacular. It was a stellar layout of what you can expect from this book and what you can't expect to find from this book. Chapter 2, telling yourself the truth. Certain things that we tell ourselves about what makes a relationship work, they're not true. And being rigorous about what they are is paramount to making them work. And a lot of this like truth that we're talking about, it comes down to what you want. It is said that we're all flailing our arms in a thick stew of relationship grabbing onto whichever bread canoe. I didn't understand what he was saying in this part. He has a very, very thick, I think it's a Scottish accent, of sense that we can find just to make it through the goo to the end relatively unscathed, okay? Chapter 3 is you can't always believe what you believe. He talks about the danger of being right, and like his others, there is humor in this book. For example, when he said that, we'll see how open you are when your addiction to being right gets exposed, and it's sitting on your chest like a 300-pound gorilla wearing a Mandalorian helmet saying, "Don't you want me, baby?" in a fake English accent. Chapter 4 is taking on the self, and I never thought of this. You have to take yourself on before you get caught up in the fantasy of, this is perfect, I'm staying with this person. The biggest deal that you'll ever have to make of all is the deal with yourself, and it's advice and insights like these that are just, they're very unlike what you'll hear in any other relationship book. This one talks so much about like personal responsibility. This book is just so about you and not the other person. When you are not ready for a relationship and you're entering one, you'll probably know very deep down. Chapter 5 is called "Can You Feel It?" This whole book, honestly, is very stoic friendly. Here's another example, by the way, of that humor I was talking about, where he was discussing disagreement. Disagreeing and arguing are often viewed as complete no-nos in those popular magazine, TV, and social media constructs, a view that I couldn't distance myself from any farther if I'd relocated to a 2-bedroom igloo in the back of an end glacier. What he recommends with arguing is keeping it no more than 10% of your overall conversation with your partner, which I found that is a pretty good tip. I'm not gonna lie. Chapter 6, you don't know your vows from a hole in the ground. This is a really nice chapter name, I have to admit. This chapter put an unexpected emphasis for some reason on the importance of vows. Like they're this sort of North Star that you're cashing it all in for the emotional charge. But it's your job to know your triggers and set them aside to let yourself sit down and just think. Chapter 7, adding value. What else is impressive to me about this book is how much the author was able to leave so much of the history of his own marriage out of the book. There's no way that can be easy when you're talking about relationships relationships in general, but not giving examples of other people's relationships either. He gave maybe like, I don't know, I can only think of maybe 2 or 3, anonymously of course, of different clients of his. Chapter 8 is called All In or Nothing at All. Something about this chapter, and I listened to the whole chapter twice in the audio version, lacked focus, I have to admit, on the topic of all or nothing. And I was like, is this turning into a book generally about taking control of your own life and sort of framing it around relationships? I guess we'll see. I mean, it's nothing close to chapter 1, so probably not. In chapter 9, the deal breakers, I learned that there's more to deal breakers than the typical lying, cheating, stealing, abuse of any kind, and the like. So the answer is no. This is not one of those books that's disguised as something else with a chapters lack focus. That's not the case. Your real deal breakers are worth considering as reasons to change the relationship, not end it. And the most immature part of me thinks he's just saying all this so that people didn't break up after checking the book out. But I imagine there's probably far more to it than that. Chapter 10, breaking up to get together. This was a strange chapter about how thinking about breaking up can improve your relationship. I know, right? Like what? And then lastly, chapter 11, love the struggle. This was a pleasant choice for a last chapter, especially in a book with this one's bravado and personality, where things are always gonna go wrong, but why you may as well enjoy being a part of them anyway. Very, very stoic ideas and principles here. Like, this book just reeks of a stoic approach to relationships. It almost seems like this book was a personal development book disguised as a relationship book based on how unorthodox it is with its whole focus on you approach. And I don't think that's a bad thing. Gary John Bishop really brought his sort of strong arm personality and bluntly delivered insights here to the table as always. But if you're looking specifically for relationship advice, this one presents a whole side of relationships that we aren't commonly encouraged by everyone else to examine. And that is pretty cool. Quotes. Lying to yourself is more deeply ingrained than lying to others. When I give speeches, people applaud when I say I've been married for 20 years. For all they know, my marriage could be terrible. If you can't give your word to yourself, how the hell can you give it to another person? What about the times you were right? Even a broken clock is right twice a day. Direction 1. According to the author, this book is for those who can't wait for the world to get it together, so they decided to step up to the plate themselves. And I agree. Direction 2. If you like this book, you definitely might like Love Is Not Enough by Mark Manson. Love Unf by Gary John Bishop. There's a link in the description if you guys want to check it out and read the reviews. That and all the other books that I mentioned in this video, if you want to check those out too. If there are any other books that you guys want me to check out and review, please let me know in the comments below. Also, let me know if you checked out this book and you liked it. But hey, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, because I don't get why people watch this far into my videos and they don't subscribe. But if you have subscribed and you want to turn it up just a notch and turn on that notification bell to get a notification whenever I drop new videos, that would mean the world to me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. You can find me everywhere, and I will see you then.